Okay, Zremesher. It's fairly new. Came out with ZBrush 4.6, and it's used to takes a high poly mesh that is sculpted in ZBrush and retopologizes it. Does a rather good job as well. Considering it's a one-button solution. What I'm going to do is I will open up the high poly body from the prior set that Christopher at 3D Palace created. What we'll do is retopologize it, and using UVmaster will then create a quick set of UVs to enable me to then go in and texture it. So the model's loaded up, and as you can see, it's quite poly heavy at 1.9 million points, and that would actually be next to useless for UV mapping. So what we're going to do is we're going to decimate the model and create a more friendly version for texturing. So what we'll do is under geometry there is a tab called Zremesher. There's several tools that go with it to enable you to direct how ZBrush creates the retopology, but for this body, just the basic one-click solution will work. The one thing I do is leave freeze border on. This enables to keep some of the details that would be lost if I didn't leave freeze border on. So with that going, I'll just hit Remesher and just see what comes out. It's a separate process from ZBrush. It loads it up and starts to work in its magic. It takes several minutes depending on how dense and how large your model is. So, as you can see, it's taken our mesh, lowered the density down to about 90,000 points, but as you can see, most of the detail is quite there, and it's still quite good considering the poly count in it now. It's in a position now where I can take it into UVmaster. Before I do that, I mentioned before about Zremesher also having a number of other tools that you can use to better get your retopology out of. It's under brushes, and there is a brush called, let's remember what it is. Find it. It's under brushes, and it's Zremesher guides, and all you basically do, have the brush selected, and just create guidelines. It doesn't have to be the whole mesh, it just has to be where you want certain topology to go and how you want it to act. Anyway, moving on from that, the UVmaster. It's not perfect, as you couldn't expect it to be from a one-click solution, but for my needs and for this workflow, it works perfectly fine. As it's a symmetrical mesh, leave it on symmetry, can also you can also paint polygroups in there to better enable you to get a better map. But in this case, for me, it's perfectly fine for just to click unwrap. So what I'll do is just let it do its job. It does take a few minutes. It's not perfect. Sometimes the ZBrush can crash, but 9 times out of 10 from the tests I've done so far, I have gotten usable UV maps from it for both organic and mechanical meshes. Okay, that seems to have done it. So what I'll do now is export it back into Max. So I'm going to quickly check it over. Quick UV unwrap on it, so you can look at the UV map. Doesn't look too bad. I would have preferred the seam at the top, but again, you could go into UVmaster and adjust that. From there, taking the model, I've imported it into Mudbox. There are a couple of errors with the very edge of the mesh there, but it'll do because they're not going to be seen. Just check a new view on here. Main thing for me with this is, as long as there's no overlapping UVs, pretty much good to go. And from there, it's just a simple case of projection, painting, set the texture I'm going to use. For example, this, and just team up and start painting. Well, it's only a quick tutorial, and hopefully that'll help you get started and have a go.